Hello everyone, and welcome to Slipjoint Sawyer. Today we're taking a look at another Swiss Army knife from Victorinox, and this is another one from their light range, so we'll go through why that is. But this one is the Huntsman, so obviously named the Huntsman Lite. It's a 91mm design, which equates to right about 3.6 inches close, if you give into consideration the little keyring tab here. Now, pretty much all of the light range come with these ruby translucent scales, so you can see that you can see through, pretty much all the way through. Really nice ruby Cellidor. Got the inlaid Victorinox shield up here, and of course this one I picked up off the secondary market, so it has been used. There is all sort of scratches over the Cellidor, but I really enjoy picking up these older ones. Don't know what it is, but I prefer the older ones with the older tang stamps compared to the newer ones. But honestly, if you bought this new, it would come exactly the same as this. There would be no difference whatsoever. So the Huntsman Lite then, it's 5-layer instead of a 4, which is the regular Huntsman, but you have a couple of additional features on that. But the model number is 1.7915.T. Now the T stands for the translucent scales, and the model number for this in the US is 53271. So I thought we'd go through the tools, have a look at it, what additional bits are on there, and just see what we think of it overall. So we'll start with the externals. So you get the tweezers on the front scale. You of course get the keyring. On the back, as it's the light, you get the plus scales. So by that you mean you get the toothpick. You also get the ballpoint pen. And in the later models, which is the more recent ones, you actually get the screwdriver as well. Earlier models were seen pictured without this corkscrew screwdriver, so that is for more later models. You can see that's great for doing your glasses or any sort of small screws, and that sort of twists very nicely into the corkscrew. And then you also get the pin, which sits very nicely in that little slot just down there. On the back then, you also get the smaller technician's flathead screwdriver. You get the multi-purpose hook, which is great for carrying parcels, anything with like a smaller handle on it, or it's great for pulling laces through. Anything like that's really useful, a lot more useful than people seem to make out. And then you also get the punch on the back, or the awl blade. See the sewing eye on there, and then the edge, perfect for punching extra holes in leather, or I don't know, sewing anything with leather. I'm sure that would work pretty well for that. On to the front then, right hand side you get the can opener with the small flathead screwdriver, and you can see all these tools are going to have the classic Victorinox finish, which is they sort of tumble it and then they polish over that, so you get this really nice finish on the tools. And of course all these have the nail nick on there as well, and you can see that edge on there. Looks like it may have been used a little bit, but not heavily. Left hand side then you get the cap lifter, and that's on a half stop with the wire bender / stripper and the large flathead screwdriver. You could also use this as a pry if you wish, but not highly recommended because they are only little brass pins with a little collar over them, you can see just here. And if you put too much sort of pressure on that, it's either going to create play or it will just ping those off, because they are only pinned together. Nothing too strenuous, but for using as a screwdriver, because you're going to be putting pressure here, it'd be absolutely fine. And of course the half stop is there for extra torque, so you can use it in this sort of position. Next layer then, we have the additional layer which adds the inline Phillips screwdriver, which is one of the best tools they've sort of come up with. It makes it so much easier to use in this sort of grip. You can get in tighter gaps and you can do different sorts of jobs, as opposed to having the corkscrew replaced with a screwdriver. Because if you look at the handle difference, you have all this as a handle rather than just using it like this. So my preference is always the inline. I think it works perfect. And then on the other side of that, you get the light, hence the name. Not super bright, but it's perfect for little jobs, looking for things you've dropped on the floor. This is new battery, so this is about as bright as it would ever get. And it's just a sort of pull back on there. And then to change the batteries, you can see this little tab here. You would just lift this up. And then on the back, if you see this little hole here, you would just take the small screwdriver and you can just push that tab there, And then this back plate comes off and it reveals two batteries, which are CR1225s, I believe. Two small sort of 5p or cent sized batteries. And that just clips down in there, ready to go. Next behind that then, you get the scissors. Now I will say they are not the easiest to get to on this one. You can see the saws right in front of them, and if you hold it this way, you can barely see that nail neck. So you have to go for more of a vertical approach to get that. But once you do, they're no problem at all. Nothing really I can say more about the Victorinox scissors. They're fantastic. The spring has not changed in maybe like 30 years, I think, and there's no reason to. It works perfectly well. Replacements, if it ever does break, are very cheap on the secondary market. You can pick them up on eBay, Etsy. Heine Haynes do packs of 6 of them for very cheap. So yeah, you can always pick up spares of these, and they're really easy to change. You just have to punch the little spring out of there, and then you just use a pair of pliers to clamp the new one in. It takes about 1 minute. But nice action on those. Probably about a 5 on the pull of those. Next up then, we have the saw. You can see the really sort of aggressive teeth on this. Doesn't look like it's been used, but in a pinch, these work perfectly well for small branches. If you're starting off a fire, maybe you've got one of those storm kettles or a very small barbecue and you want to cut up some kindling. This works perfectly for that. You can cut those smaller branches up off a tree, whatever, or if they're already on the floor, sort of dried out, perfect for that. And then if you're careful enough, you can actually batten with the main blade as long as it's small enough and you're not going to put too much pressure on it. But that sits very nicely then with this flattened portion here on the little groove there, so it stops you getting any sort of wrap on the teeth, so the teeth stay nice and sharp all the way to the end. And then next up we have the main blade. You can see this doesn't look too used at all. There is some scratches on the blade, but nothing major. See the Victorinox edge on there is uniform all the way down both sides, and that's what you'd expect from Victorinox. Their quality control is fantastic. Tang stamp then, we've got Victorinox Switzerland stainless Rossfry with the larger V. And then on the back you can see we've got the bolt and crossbow with Officer Swiss, and the bolt is not touching the crossbow. So that puts this one, I believe, between 1992 and 2005. So not super old, but could be as old as 92. And then on the right hand side we get the pen blade as well, and this one looks like pretty much brand new, like it's never been used. Looks factory edge, and it's as razor sharp as you'd expect from the factory. Take a look at the blade length then. Pen blade is going to be coming in 1.6 full length with a cutting edge of 1.5, so very UK and world legal with that blade. And then the main blade as well, I believe, is also UK legal. Probably should know this off by heart now, I've done so many of them. 2.7, and then a cutting edge of 2.4 inches. So yep, very UK legal, world legal in most places. Now I do know some countries have laws where you can't carry a knife at all without a reasonable excuse, but in the UK, as long as it's under the 3-inch cutting edge, or some people seem to think it's blade length, but as long as you're under that sort of 3-inch blade length, you're going to have no troubles at all. I mean, I carry a Swiss Army knife with me every day and never been stopped or had any issues. Now, earlier models would have had the, I believe it was the red LED light, which I'm not sure why they went for red, but the later ones were replaced with this white LED. Now, you can pick these up brand new. They are on sale at the moment on Amazon at the time of filming this video, which is October 17th, 2024. They are currently $59.58 on Amazon. I'll put that price up here, and that's Amazon UK. But the RRP, so full price, they're normally $88.99, which is a lot of money for a 5-layer. I do think that's quite expensive just to add these two tools, really, a Phillips and a light, when you can buy a normal Huntsman for maybe 30. I wouldn't be paying £89 nearly for that, for some plus scales and those tools. I don't think it's worth that, but if you can pick it up on a secondary market like I did, I think I paid 30 for this. I think that's a bargain, because you get extra tools and it's about the same as a regular Huntsman. But there we go, guys. That's my review of the Victorinox Huntsman Lite. I really hope you enjoyed this. Again, the model number you'd be looking for is 1.7915.T, or in the US would be 53271. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.
Matt's got a gentleman sharp as a blade. Slipjoint Sawyer is the name he made. Pocket knives until they flow with flair. Restorations done with craftsman's care. Rusty steel polish bright in his hands. Old souls revived with a steady glance. Views keep climbing like a jagged peak. One shot riddles, hammer sparks they speak. Slipjoint Sawyer grinding through the night. Pocket knives gleam under flickering light. Matt's got the touch, man, turning steel to gold. Every story cut deep, every piece sold.